electionnews.com. Senator John McCain has called for airstrikes and a military campaign against Syria, the first US lawmaker to do so. The statement comes as international pressure on President Assad increases, with more sanctions imposed on the regime. Meanwhile, Red Cross aid has reached two parts of the city of Homs, where civilians are caught between government forces and the armed opposition. RT's Mira Fanoshna is following developments for us.
Former presidential candidate John McCain has become the first senator to publicly call for a US-led military strike on Syria to end the 11-month-long conflict here in the country. Draft copies of McCain's speech have him telling the Senate that Syria's crisis has reached a decisive moment and the only realistic scenario to preserve innocent lives is with military air power. We are also hearing from the Free Syrian Army here on the ground that it's waiting for more foreign weapons to arrive. Earlier it confirmed it had received weapons and anti-aircraft missiles from US and French sources. Meanwhile, regional media reports that more French officers have been detained in the city of Homs, that's become a center of the conflict between the authorities and the opposition here in Syria, and they are now being held in a field hospital there. We've been receiving information earlier that more than 100 French paratroopers have been detained in the city of Homs. On the ground, political efforts to find the way out of this conflict are in full swing. The need for democratic change pushed the Syrian people to the streets last March. A year on, pro-democracy slogans are mostly forgotten and political reforms pass almost unnoticed. Wrongly, Ahmad al-Hajali claims. A member of the Ba'ath party, whose almost 50-year rule was ended by the country's newly implemented constitution, he believes Syria is going through a historic transformation.
The country's been in stagnation for a long time. The multi-party system will finally pave the way to competition, development. And in this new Syria, there'll be room enough for all, opposition and those who are angry.
Of course, it's a fake. 100% fake talk. We do not trust the regime. Our people do not trust the regime. We do not believe whatever he promises. We've tried that too many years ago and too many times, and he's never been honest.
But not all opposition members are so skeptical. Some have decided to take a dare and run the parliamentary race. 90 days before the elections, at least 6 new parties appeared. Their names reflect society's vital need and the party's aspirations. 4 have democratic in title, 4 either national or solidarity. The Al-Ansar party is just 4 weeks old. Its members say the hardest thing will be to persuade people to actually vote. But they believe the ice has broken.
Finally, the door that was closed for so many years is open. We should use it and activate people's political will.
The skeptics' main concern is that this noble impulse could not come at the worst time.
No one in Syria will sit to a table with the regime while killing is still going in streets and bombing is still going in the cities.
But ظافر al-Qutb from Al-Ansar party believes the reforms could be an important tool in finding a solution to the country's protracted crisis.
I can describe the situation as painful, but we can resolve it together. Our party's preparing documents for the president and the government. We call on all parties to start dialogue. A military solution and foreign countries' interference will only make things worse. We should now intervene, and we should start deciding.
A new constitution is the latest in the package of reforms that also included the lifting of emergency laws and the release of political prisoners. Ahmad al-Hajali says these changes could be a double-edged sword, making the country stronger but also more vulnerable to foreign influence.
There are people, and their salaries are in dollars, reals and dharmas. They want to destroy the country. They don't want changes. No. They cannot allow changes to happen. They have to spoil reformation, and we should stand still to resist it.
But maybe the fears of change at home are just as powerful. The Syrian parliament has seen many changes in its near century-old history. This building used to be home to many political parties, but in the last 50 years, the political life within these walls hasn't been all that colourful, with the total dominance of the Ba'ath party. The democratic changes the uprising brought a year on are expected to modify the political landscape here in Syria, but the same transformations are yet to come in people's minds, and this is something which will take a lot longer. Marie Finoshna, RT.